Sorry for that little cut, but I ran out of memory in my computer. These videos sometimes are very high qualities, and that's what happened. So, anyways, we were discussing here whether this is what values appear to be typical. So, in this case, when we look at it one more time, we have here that this is a normal set of data. Okay. Oh, I missed it a bit. We have that this is a normal set of data. Okay. However, we have some outliers. Okay. So these outliers are making a little bit of noise. We already discussed about them. Actually, starting from here, the outliers already start. Okay. So that's why it's causing the data to be slightly skewed. So we can choose either to ignore them or do the logarithm of the number and then perhaps get a normalized data. But anyways, in this case, it's mostly normalized. It's just normal with some outliers. Still remains to be very normal. How we can know if it's not a normalized data? Very simple. When we have a normal data set, this average and this median fall exactly on the same point. This average and this line fall exactly on the same one. It's the same, but not here. Why? You realize there's a slight difference between of them, and that is because of the slight problem that those guys are doing. Um, if I maybe were to remove them, maybe the data is gonna change. Then you realize it's a beautiful normal date. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. Don't copy that. I am just teaching you how a normal data set looks, because in this case we don't have those outliers that are distracting the data, that is pulling the data to one side. Okay, so let me go back in case you did it, in case you follow me, do it back. Okay, so what I was asking you just now here, this one, what values appear to be typical for this group of data municipal bonds. So here in this case we can see values within the 3.151 and the 4.151 are the most typical values. Now some of you may be asking right now, Professor, but isn't this a bimodal? I remember you taught us that in a histogram it can be bimodal because we have two groups. Yes and no. There is a gap here. Rule number one is fulfilled. In that case, it could be bimodal, but the problem is that second group is not sufficient or cohesive enough. We have only two bars, they are too small, they are not even the half of this one. So if we were to say that this one is much bigger like that, or even much bigger than that, then it has sufficiency, so the numbers are cohesive, and then yeah, but in this case we don't have it, so we just take it as an outlier. Okay, very good. So we answered that question. We answered it verbally. Describe the shape of the distribution. We already mentioned that is a normal distribution with outliers. Well, we can see the slightly skewed data, or we can see it is normalized normal data with some outliers. Simple as that. Okay, so it says with a minimum function find the lowest value, with a max function find the highest value. That's a very simple one, but you have to know it. It's important. Okay, so here we're just gonna do for min max, and that goes very simple as that. So just equals minimum min. I can already click this one, and then I can already just shift it, enter, and that's gonna give me already the number. Remember, I have to normalize it. I have to go to percentage, and then I have to increase 1, 2, 3. Why? Because all my data looks exactly like that. Okay, very good. And then same for the max function. You have to do equals max, and then there we go. I make a lot of noises when I'm working on this one, but it's because I am very, very, very bored. I've done this like 1,000 times. For you guys, you're very focused. It's your first time, but not for me. So it's 1, 2, 3. I just wish I can finish this video as quickly as possible and resume back my life. Okay, anyway, so in this case we have already that one in the instructions. We done it, we done that. And now we're gonna proceed to the questions. The questions, you're gonna answer them on yourself, by yourself. So, but I need to explain them to you. So in this case, what we're gonna do is a customer of the bank. Remember, these bonds are offered by a bank, right? Remember, it's like investment options for consumers. Don't ask me more. Well, if you want to know more about bonds, you can send me a message and I can explain you further, but you're going to learn that in economics or finance or something like that. So anyways, in this case, we have a customer of a bank approaches you. You're working at a bank. You're the person in charge of offering bank products. In this case, you are the ones who recommend them which bond is the best one based on what you have seen. So anyways, he has a couple questions and you have to answer him based on this data. So first of all, it asks what is the range of percent where you consider most bonds are normally distributed. So there you have to look at maybe you have to look at your box plot and tell them where is majority of the data, which bonds are normally distributed, which ones are not so much. And that's gonna lead us to the next question. Your consumer says a friend told him that a bond that pays 9% is normal. Is that true? If not true, explain him why. So you have to tell him, okay, is 9 really a typical value, or perhaps it's out of the norm? Why is it out of the norm? And then try to explain him that. But he also told him that another friend told him not to invest, as normally bonds pay very little, only less than 3%. So is that friend telling him the truth, or is lying to him? So if it's not true, explain him why. Again, you can look at the data and see, okay, below 3, is that true or not? And I can answer that question. Okay, make sure you answer the questions with a bit more of a sentence. I looked at this, the data shows this and that and that, and that's why this is not true. Don't tell me true, false. That's not gonna work. That already failed you the whole assignment, regardless you have done everything, just because you're not following my instructions. Okay, anyways, then he asks you which is the most which he asks you which is the most popular bond. Which mathematical method would you use to find it? Would you use the median, the mode, or the average? So in this case, remember, mode is where we see which is the value that repeats the most. Wink my eye. Then we have the median, which is the middle value, and then we have the average, which is the average of all those bonds. Remember, popularity might be based on which one repeats the most. I almost gave you the answer. Thank you so much. You can thank me on the Kakao Talk. And then we have recommend him the highest paying bond with the normal data. So in this case, which number from the 5 summary numbers would you use? Remember, we are looking also into quartiles. Which one is the lower quartile? Which one is the higher quartile? So you can tell him that, right? So in this case, you say, I'm not gonna recommend him outliers. Why? Because sometimes, yeah, it's the highest value, but I'm gonna recommend him within what is normal data, what is a good value because it has the highest value. Probably also remember high return, high risk. So you can say like, yeah, I want to recommend him the 10 because it's the highest value, but it has high risk. So recommend him something that is within the normal values. Okay. And also the same thing, explain which bond he should avoid as they are too low compared to the normal data. So which number from the 5 number summary would you use? Also, again, you have to look which is the higher quartile, lower quartile, median, average. What is the value that I can tell him avoid it? Don't tell him the lowest value. That is not what it works. Remember, it says compared to normal data. Very good. So with that, we're done. So remember, for this assignment, what you have to do is your data set has to look like mine. This one you can do it a table. Also, you can make it look nicer. Always make all your make always your my table data has headers. No. Okay, I'm gonna make it nicer for Professor Ramirez. This one I told him no header row and still gave me a header row, and then the same thing for this one. Okay, I can also make it a table, make sure it looks beautiful. um, Table. I don't know why it keeps on insisting on gives me a header row even when I said no. But anyways, you already know how to remove it. We have it there. We have all those values with all the arrows, etc. We have the distribution should look like this. And with that, you send this Excel. Your questions, you should answer them in here. Don't ask me, Professor, should I send them through another document? No, just answer them in here. You can say here, Professor is the most handsome person in the world. Not true. Not even my wife thinks that, so you can avoid putting that. Just write the proper answers. That is a completely wrong answer. Okay? So anyways, thank you so much. If you have any questions, do text me. If you have any questions about the formulas or so, either you can ask me or there's tons of information on internet that also you can check out, but usually I will be faster because I know in context what I ask you to do. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.